Tonight on Let It Rip.
What we're proposing, in a general sense, is upwards of $1 billion of development on the entire Gratiot site. The centerpiece of it is an MLS team.
A couple of billionaires want to put a new soccer stadium on some prime Detroit real estate downtown. They say it could kick off a new era for the city. The only problem? A giant political boondoggle currently occupying the site. But first,
an America where we lift each other up instead of tearing each other down.
Well, I think the only card she has is the woman's card. She's got nothing else going.
Trump and Clinton already taking aim at each other. If they want to win the White House, they will first have to win the women's vote. Will it automatically go to Hillary? Or can the Donald get in touch with his feminine side? Time to Let It Rip. On the panel tonight, a woman who once gave up politics for family. Gretchen Whitmer served in both the State House and Senate, becoming the Senate Democratic leader. And just when we thought she might run for higher office 6 years ago, she changed her mind to spend some time with her children and family. Well, apparently the kids are doing all right. And who knows, Mom may be ready to run again. Next to her, another powerhouse, Janine Catiff, has been a teacher, principal, builder, businesswoman. She does it all. And yes, she's a Republican, a proud Republican, and a delegate for Donald Trump. I have no idea who Rochelle Riley's going to vote for, but I can tell you that her peers have just inducted her into the Michigan Journalism Hall of Fame. Wow. Fantastic. Of course, you can read her columns in the Free Press and hear her rip tonight. Also with us is Michonne Maddock, a woman who went from housewife to political activist. She's also a businesswoman, also a Republican leader, and now headed to the convention as a Trump delegate.
Yes, I am. Thank you.
And as always, our nominee for the hardest working man in TV, attorney anchor Charlie Langton. All right, let's get started. Tonight, Donald Trump is calling himself the presumptive nominee. This week, he won 5 primaries by huge margins, or huge margins, as he would say, and immediately took aim at Democrat Hillary Clinton, accusing her of playing the woman card.
Well, I think the only card she has is the woman's card. She's got nothing else going. And frankly, if Hillary Clinton were a man, I don't think she'd get 5% of the vote. The only thing she's got going is the woman's card. And the beautiful thing is, women don't like her, okay?
Mr. Trump accused me of playing the, quote, woman card. Well, if fighting for women's health care and paid family leave and equal pay is playing the woman card, then deal me in.
Now, Gretchen, Donald Trump says he respects women. He's just telling the truth about Hillary that Democrats don't want to hear.
I think that's ridiculous, and I think it's demeaning when he uses language like that. Donald Trump was born white, male, and rich, and he's got no idea what that privilege means and how most people in America do not have that privilege and what that means for us making less money, dealing, with so many barriers to equality that him saying the women card is just demeaning, and he's playing to people's worst fears and assumptions about one another. He's running a campaign of division, and that's what I liked about what Hillary said. Yes, my background is fighting for women, and if that means I'm playing the woman card, deal me in, and deal me in too. I agree with her, and I'm glad to see a strong woman standing up who is without question the most qualified person running, no matter what gender.
When you hear her, do you feel insulted by what you just heard Donald Trump say?
No, not in the least bit. Not in the least bit. Because what I do is I look at Hillary, and with all due respect, we got to respect each other here. I look at Hillary, and I'm hearing her say that she is supporting the women. She is there to support women of the world. Well, you know what? I'm thinking about the women that had the courage to come forward and stand up and talk about what happened between them and her husband. And I'm thinking about the fact how she stood dead against those women that had the courage to stand up and speak. I'm thinking about these situations. Talk about a woman of privilege who's grown up with privilege. She doesn't know how to go into a subway.
No.
She has difficulty doing those sorts of things.
She gets paid $300,000 just to give a speech for Goldman Sachs. That's not exactly a woman that's for the people, of the people.
But we see, Rochelle, where this argument may lead. I believe that Hillary and Donald are indeed the presumptive nominees of their parties, but we see right here tonight the kind of debate that we'll see when those two face each other. They're going to bring up Bill Clinton's behavior. They're going to bring up the fact that they're wealthy, too. How do you see it?
Well, we're going to see bad behavior on all sides. But I can tell you that the shame of this is that we're not really having a debate about what makes a good president and what America needs right now. And that is the worst thing, because we've got tenuous situations going on, everything from foreign policy and terrorism to an economy that, you know, quite frankly, thanks to President Obama, who gets no credit for it, brought us back from the brink of what could have been the next Great Depression. That doesn't mean that everything's fine. I mean, there still needs to be more work done. I think it's amazing to me when you look at numbers and you see that more women vote than men. The fastest growing segment of voters are women. Even if Donald Trump, you know, wants to direct this towards Hillary Clinton, he is still demeaning women in general. So either he really thinks he doesn't need the women, or he really thinks that Hillary doesn't have them.
Well, despite what you just heard, Sean, you're going to vote for Donald Trump at the convention.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Ted Cruz, his rival, has just chosen Carly Fiorina as his running mate even before the convention starts. Certainly a recognition by Cruz that women are so important.
I don't think that's it. I think it's a desperate move. 10.2 million people have already voted for Donald Trump in this primary. That already exceeds the number that voted in the entire primary campaign of Mitt Romney. And they're saying that his numbers are going to far exceed probably even George Bush, who I think had the record in 2008. So those are not all men. Those are a lot of women. And the women I know, strong women, I'm not in any way intimidated by anything Donald says. His daughters are strong, successful. His wife is strong and successful. And he's also raised careers of many, many women that work for him, that love him. In fact, one of the women that works in his campaign is a woman who's very strong and gives all of her success to him. So I think women do like him. I think it's a narrative that the left likes to use to say that women don't like Donald Trump. I don't believe it.
Well, the polls show that even among Republican women, 49% feel uncomfortable voting for Trump but feel obligated to support the party's nominee.
I think that's true, but I think realistically, though, if you take a look at politics today, I think women do have a benefit if they run. I've been told about 5% just because you're a woman. Take a look at the local elections around here. Look at Candace Miller. She made a career of beating men. This person right here, Gretchen's done fairly well. She's a woman. Listen, local politics, local level, I tell you what, if I was running, I don't want to run against a woman, because people they vote for women, and that's just the way it is. So maybe Donald Trump is saying, you know, play the woman card, play the woman card. Maybe he's trying to wake up voters to say, don't just judge her as a woman. And by the way, if Hillary Clinton becomes president, it's history in the making. She's the first woman president. Wow, that's a big deal. And I will bet you that there may be some maybe moderate Republicans that will vote for Hillary Clinton because she's a woman.
But you look at the enthusiasm for Donald Trump in the Republican Party.
And
Does that not scare you?
Appeals to women.
As a Democrat?
Donald Trump scares me for a lot of reasons, and it ranges from his ignorance on international public policy to how he belittles women that disagree with him, or anyone who disagrees with him for that matter. We've got massive wage and income disparity in this country. We've got schools that are falling apart and an infrastructure that desperately needs attention, and we don't hear the front runner in the Republican Party talking about any issues that really matter to people. Now, we like to talk about women's issues, like women fit into a little niche and you can define us all. That's not how it works. We care about issues that impact our families. We are the primary caretakers for young people at the beginning of their lives and our parents at the end of their lives. We care about a robust set of issues, and we deserve candidates that are going to talk to us about them in a way that is thoughtful and respectful, and we're not getting that out of Donald Trump. And I think that's where the woman disparity comes into effect. And Ted Cruz is smart enough to try to say, okay, women matter, so I'm going to grab Carly Fiorina. That doesn't do it. We saw that with Sarah Palin. Just having a woman on the ballot doesn't make a difference. You got to talk about the issues that matter to people, and that's what Hillary Clinton is doing.
Does Donald Trump then have an obligation to choose a woman?
You know what? I don't know, and that's something that we will have to wait and see is going to happen. But you know, Donald Trump is a very successful businessman. He has taken $1 million that was given to him by his father. He's turned it into $10 billion. He has done some things. He's proven himself. He's successful. And with that comes a resourcefulness, a great resourcefulness. This is a man that knows how to get a job done. And I'm sorry, I look at Washington right now, and I look at the people that are rising up and standing up and saying, enough, I'm with Trump. Why? Because he's saying things that resonates. He's saying things that people want to hear.
People want an outsider.
You look at Washington, and I'm looking at the confidence that the American people have in our legislators. The bureaucrat confidence is at an all-time low. So when we see people rising up from all levels, well, the money. I think I mentioned last time I was here at the Republican debate that took place in Detroit. There were some motorcycle guys in leather jackets, and they were bikers for Trump. I see all walks of life standing up.
People are discouraged about some of the money going on in politics right now. Donald Trump can self-fund his campaign, or a good chunk of his campaign.
And you know what?
And that is very appealing to a lot of people.
Charlie, he owes nothing to anybody, and nobody owns him. Isn't that a great thing?
Yeah, and
what about Hillary? Who owns Hillary?
Let me just say two things here, and this is very important. And I do respect and appreciate that you like your candidate. People cleave to the people they think can do the job. But two things. The first is, when you casually say that somebody gave a white guy $1 million and he turned it into anything in America, that's great. But Ben Carson, as brilliant as he's capable of being, if somebody given him $1 million, he couldn't have done anything with it except had $1 million. That's not a small thing to keep talking about Trump's success in a country and in an economy and quite frankly, in a society where it is possible for someone of his race and of his family, and hand him a check to be successful. That's not it. When you've got people who come in and promise some change and some hope for something different, people do get excited about that. But this isn't the first time it's happened. It happened with Ronald Reagan, who quite frankly only had two things going for him. He was an actor who was popular, and he had a brilliant wife. Then you've got Ross Perot, who came in with a bunch of charts and graphs, and it's like, oh God, here's this outsider who is talking different. And you had it with Barack Obama, who said, I want to bring something different. And he was a first-term senator, considered outside, and he had the majority of the women's vote. He did all of this other great stuff that nobody wants to pay attention. This is the latest thing. So all of these people who love Trump, all you'll know is whether people who are excited about the circus will get in the voting booth and actually still vote for him.
And who knows, but before we go, you made a choice 6 years ago that family was more important than politics, but the race for governor of Michigan is wide open. Are you ready to say tonight that you're running?
I'm not ready to say tonight. I will tell you, I'm working on 2016 to make sure that the House Democrats take it back and we deliver Michigan for Hillary Clinton. That's what I'm working on.
But you certainly haven't ruled it out, and you may yet get in the race.
I care about the state and our future, and I see where we're at, and I know we can do better.
All right. Panel, we thank all of you for being here, your comments and your insights. All right, coming up, a couple of billionaires team up to bring professional soccer to Detroit and build a new stadium downtown. The only problem is where they want to build it. The current side of the unfinished Wayne County Jail. Why some say the deal on the table is not enough. Former Fox 2 reporter Al Allen joins us to let it rip next.
We are focused on this city. We love it. We love all the energy here. We love the fact that there are companies and people that believe in the resurgence of the city. That's very much the character and core equity of our league.
Well, that's the commissioner of Major League Soccer confirming what we already believe. Detroit is the place to be. Billionaires Dan Gilbert and Tom Gores, rivals in basketball, now teaming up to build not just a new soccer stadium, but a complex of a stadium, office buildings, apartments, condos. We're talking about a $1 billion deal. Welcome back to RIP. With us now is the MVP of the Fox 2 Sports Department. Ryan Armani does it all. Anchor, reporter, producer. Also the host of the Brian and Rico Show on Detroit Sports 105.1 FM. Also with us, Bob Picano. He spent 12 years as Wayne County executive. In fact, the jail was started while he was in office. He's here to tell us why the solution is not as simple as it looks. And he's back by popular demand, the most famous, most beloved reporter here at Fox 2, Al Allen. He retired just a few years ago, but he hasn't retired from speaking his mind. We're glad to see you, Al.
And it's not even snowing.
There you go. Also back with us, a woman who knows local politics inside and out. She runs her own public relations firm and hosts her own talk show weekdays 4 to 7 p.m. on 9:10 a.m. The Superstation. Everybody knows Charlie, so let's rip. All right. Here's what Warren Evans has to say about selling that jail site to build a new stadium.
We've gone a long way towards a completion of the existing jail.
and we're getting an idea of what that's going to cost. And if we veer from that path, I have to be assured that Wayne County taxpayers are not going to have to pay more.
Jail doesn't pay property taxes, doesn't spur other development, isn't connected to the other entertainment zone, isn't creating jobs.
Well, you have reporters like Ryan Romani who believe this stadium proposal could be the best thing since sliced bread. You're not a soccer fan, but you like the stadium.
I hate soccer, Huel. I think it's a terrible sport. I really do. But I went downtown last year. I was acting as a news reporter covering the World Cup, the big TV screens down in Detroit, and what I saw was thousands of people, white people, black people, Middle Eastern people, Asian people, all just rabid. And I'm saying to myself, what am I missing here? I kind of wanted to get in on the fun. And look, I'm a sports guy. I love sports. The more the merrier. And I think a new stadium downtown is exactly what could continue helping the rebirth of the city of Detroit.
Meanwhile, the big problem is that unfinished, infamous jail site. The Wayne County Jail started under your administration. We asked your successor to be here, Warren Evans. He said he didn't want to negotiate on the air, so Bob agreed to come and talk to us because you say, but you agree with Warren. You agree with Warren. Yeah, the jail is a problem, but the deal on the table is not enough because the numbers may not be right. Why is that?
It's a complex. You can't look at it just as the jail because, number one, it's got to be tied to the courts.
And Dan Gilbert at one point offered you $50 million for that property.
For the property, but don't forget the whole system's tied together. If you were to move the jail someplace else and leave the courts over there, just think of the transportation costs. Number one, there's a number of tunnels, and the new jail is designed for that it goes into Frank Murphy. It goes into the court system that is part of that. If you don't have those tunnels, number one, security becomes an issue, but number two, the transportation costs. There's like 45 to 50,000 inmates that go through that system every year, and most of it is going back and forth with court. So it's much more complicated than just saying we'll buy the property. I think the stadium, sure, it'd be a great idea if you could work out the whole system. Now, I know part of it is say we want to go to Mound. Well, in essence, that's really helping the state because the state closed that facility. They're still paying for bonds on those facilities, so they want to move somebody in there. I mean, a lot of people don't know this, but it's like if you had a house, you had a mortgage on it, you move out, and you're still paying on the mortgage, right? They want to move somebody in to try to take it over for them. And plus, all the complex is already down there and also the juvenile system is still down there, the juvenile home. Does that have to go as well? There's a number of things moving parts.
So if $50 million is not right, what is the magic number? Would it be 150? Warren Evans says they've already got 150 million tied into that because of the bonds they've got on the jail site. Plus, we're paying monthly just to maintain that site. So 200 million, 300 million? What's the number?
Well, some of the preliminary things, and now they're reasonable in terms of how many beds they actually want. At one time, it shot up to like 2,600 that everybody's looking for. Now it's probably going to be down to about 2,000. They can finish that perhaps, or at least at the end of my administration, we're looking for an additional 60 or 70 million. Now, if you're going to finish it on that site for 60 or 70 million, if you're going to move it completely, a new courthouse would cost you anywhere from 150 to probably $200 million. And if you put that on the Mound site, that's a number of other infrastructure adjustments that you have to make. Plus, there's environmental issues out at Mound as well that have to be cleared up.
So you're talking $200 million to $500 million. Meanwhile, Al, you're thinking about the taxpayers.
That's right. You know, this is always a big problem. And the poor taxpayers in the city of Detroit, they're the ones who are going to end up paying the consequences of something that may have gone wrong or gone right. You know, we see developers come in and they offer these grandiose ideas of put a stadium here, we'll build a high-rise here.
We've gone a long way towards and we're getting an idea of what that's going to cost.
The developer pays 70%, the taxpayer pays. That's an awful imbalance right there. We're talking about maybe 50%, 50-50, that would be fair. Or another idea, why don't we give the taxpayer something back in the way of shares? You want to build something down there? Okay, you pay 50%, I pay 50%, but let me be a stockholder in your business. That way, $10, I buy 10 shares of stock, $20, 20 shares and so forth. So you have an incentive there as well. But right now, the situation is lopsided. And one other thing, too, is Detroit is in a position now, the city of Detroit. 10 years ago, we were in bad shape. Nowadays, Detroit is doing well. You know, so far, doing okay. We don't have to beg anymore. They don't have to come in and hold the city hostage because, you know, if you don't take my deal, you know, you're going to lose a big profit. No. We're beyond that. We're doing better than that. And we can pick and choose now developers who want to come in and enhance the city of Detroit, downtown and in the neighborhoods.
Karen, you've been in the upper echelon in City Hall, serving several mayors. What do you see as the major obstacle? What do you see as a solution to this?
Well, in putting a stadium there, as Ryan indicated, I mean, it adds to the value. Dan Gilbert has made an enormous investment, and he's going to have to continue to do that until he starts to realize the return on that investment. But you've got to look at the dollar value associated with the jail project as it is now. I applaud Warren Evans for playing hardball and negotiating a deal that would be fair to the county and protecting the interest of Wayne County. But, you know, at the same time, I've heard that this backdoor conversation has been taking place for a long time, that when, you know, people come off of I-75 into downtown, the optics of seeing a jail and a court is not, it doesn't fit into the overall plan. So, you know, let's throw it out there, put the pressure and the PR machine in works to put the pressure on the county to make the deal go, because that's what they want. They want all of that out. They've wanted it out for a long time.
Who would be stupid enough to put a jail in the middle of downtown Detroit? I mean, come on!
Charlie, it's been there for it's been down there for 75 years. And we haven't even touched on 36th District Court. That probably has to move as well.
Have you seen Frank Murphy Hall of Justice? Maybe you have. I don't know. But here's the deal. That place has got to go, too. It's a disaster. You've got 2 billionaires plus a boatload of money, and the people that are successful, let them do their thing. Can you imagine what this would look like in the city of Detroit? Now, take that jail, put it to Mound in a neighborhood area where you can start to develop other things. A courthouse, restaurants, lawyers like to eat. There's a whole bunch of other things that could be developed in another part of the city. Bottom line, nobody wants a jail in downtown Detroit.
But then here we go, we got a problem again. We're talking about taking downtown and put it in neighborhoods. That's not right either.
Well, Mayor, I don't know, Al, I think you have the best solution. Let's find out a deal. Let's craft a deal so that the people of Detroit and Wayne County can participate in the profits.
That's right.
Let's applaud the investment of Dan Gilbert and Mike Ilitch and these wonderful champions of the city, but let's find a way so that we can all participate.
And Huel, how much more can the people of the city of Detroit or Wayne County spending $1.2 million per month right now isn't cutting it for the residents either.
Well, look, we appreciate your comments and your insights. All of you need to be involved in this conversation some way, somehow. All right? Thank you. Here on TV and behind the scenes.
Allen, no shouting on Leonard Wilkins.
All right.
You can thank him.
All right, you're here for the panel. Up next is your turn when Charlie takes the show on the road. Stay with us.
Dan Gilbert, have you heard of him?
Yes.
Tom Gord, have you heard of him?
Yes.
Okay. Those two are going to team up. They want to build a soccer stadium in Detroit.
Yeah. I think that's awesome.
I think it's a great idea. A soccer stadium? No.
I think it'd be a good idea only if soccer was to catch on in Michigan.
Are you a soccer fan?
Not really. My kids, I had them all in soccer.
We'll be the sports capital of the world.
Would you go to the game?
If I had tickets.
A soccer stadium where the jail is there a reason behind it?
It might be a good way to use the land.
Some of the county officials are saying, though, that they've started the jail, they should complete the jail, no soccer stadium.
I don't agree with that because it's been a white elephant for a long time.
Then empty out jail that's sitting there.
And how much more money are you going to throw into this money pit?
I think it's better to have the stadium than an empty building.
Well, the jail might generate some revenue.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I consider a soccer arena a lot better than an empty jail.
Hey, I'm going to downtown Detroit and I'm going to go check out the soccer stadium, not the jail.
Start with you, Al. What do you think?
You know what? I tell you what, marketing. They threw this out here to get public reaction, to see what the public thinks. They may not like it, the idea of the public, so there may be a plan B.
Okay.
I think what you do is lock everybody up in a room and tell them you can't come out until you have a solution here to this whole issue.
Brian?
You have two successful people who don't know how to fail. Let them do their thing and get out of the way.
Karen?
I think the stadium's going to happen, and it could be a good thing, but I do think that we have to find a comprehensive strategy and relocation for all the law enforcement components and judicial systems downtown.
Charlie?
Get rid of that jail downtown, put up this complex. It's going to be good. It's good for the city of Detroit, and move everything to Mount or somewhere else, not in the main part of the city.
I agree. This should be built $300 to $500 million. All right, panel, thank you very much. Thank you for watching this edition of Let It Rip.
The Let It Rip discussion continues online. Sound off on Facebook, Twitter, or fox2detroit.com.